Shaka laka boom. You've tuned in to the Free Range Human Show of Choice, your daily dose of reality radio. This is the Clay Edwards Show. I'm, of course, Clay Edwards. I am live here on 103.9 FM, streaming worldwide at WYAB.com, as well as the TuneIn app and Alexa. We're here doing it this morning. We got a big show today. We got Shaun just getting settled in. Coming up in the second segment, so around 7:25, we got a big one planned for you, something I think you guys are really going to enjoy. We're going to celebrate Pride Month with Gays Against Groomers. Chris Barrett with Gays Against Groomers, the infamous organization that is fighting back against the rampant grooming of our children by the LGBTQ plus trans IA LMNOP rainbow supremacy folks out there, the ones who are forcing pornographic homosexual books into schools, all that. This is the group of other like-minded gay folks that are fighting as our allies in this battle for the soul of our children and America. And man, I tell you what, they're a strong, strong ally to have. They're doing the Lord's work, fighting back against this stuff. Whether you agree with their personal decisions in their life or not, at least that's their personal decision, and they are handling that themselves. All right, so hold on. Shaun, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Oh, doing pretty good. Pretty good.
Cool. So every time you put your headphones on, you're like, turn it down.
No, you can turn it up just a little bit, too.
Well, what it is the other guy, Matt,
Yeah.
turns them way up and then just turns the volume knob on these down.
Oh, is that what he does? Okay, that's why I
Yeah.
can never hear. Or maybe it's too loud every time I put it on.
Yeah, it's always too loud when you put yours on because I don't check the volume knob on these. I'm like, oh, they're loud, they work.
Yeah.
And then like, oh yeah, they're turned all the way up. So I mean, it's same volume either way. It just depends on how you do it.
Gotcha.
How's it going? You went to that trial yesterday?
I did. I went to the trial yesterday. It was really interesting.
All right, so Shaun sat through the day one of the St. Paddy'S Day double murder trial. What was that guy? What's that guy's name?
Jordan Cummins.
Cummings, yes.
Yeah, that's his name. Yeah, I got to sit through several witnesses, and then I did get to see them play the video of the scene, the actual altercation, which was hard. The one that they played on the big screen was really difficult to make out. It looked like a bunch of guys rushed his car that he was in, so I don't know. You can't really see what happened in the car there. But some witnesses had testified that about 45 minutes before the shooting, he was kind of drunk. I think he drank a whole bottle of Crown, and was saying things like, "I'm going to flatline someone," or I'm going to kill someone. Those kinds of things. He was kind of real drunk and angry. It sounded like to me.
Well, predictive.
Yeah, and then he did. So,
I have my reservations about all this because I know how these things, from being recovering white trash myself, and just going out and doing dumb stuff and getting in fights and all that, and having the nightclubs for years, and just watching how the escalation of violence can kind of take place. Man, my spidey senses, and I could be wrong on this, my spidey senses are, some level of this is self-defense.
They've got an argument for that. That's what I was actually, of course, Russ Latino, he was there with me too, watching the trial. We were kind of, he's friends with the victim's family, and he happened to be there, so we discussed the whole case. And yeah, there's a self-defense argument there. Until I see more of the testimony, I can't really tell you, but there's but the thing is, to me, is they're going to introduce a video, if you remember, of him at the jail. He was at the jail, and he made a video, and the video, I've looked at it last night, and what the video says was basically like, if someone steps to me, I'm going to shoot him.
Already got two on my belt.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, and he's
check the numbers or something.
So he's gonna. To me, that's almost an admission, because if you're acting in self-defense, I feel like you'd have some remorse to the thing, to some way. But he's trying to act all hard. Now, if I was defending him, and this was kind of Russ and I's consensus on this, was that if you take the stand, you say, well, I was just a scared kid out in Raymond, and I was trying to act hard. That would be your defense to that.
Well, that's the first thing that came to my head.
Yeah.
But I'm with you, and I don't know. Look, what's the race makeup of the jurors?
I think it was 11 blacks and 1 white.
He going to jail.
That's right.
He's going to jail. He killed two white kid, killed two black folks in Jackson, Hinds County, whatever. He's going to jail.
Well, I'll tell you what. Based on what I've heard so far, I convict him, and here's why. The testimony of the fact that he was acting violent before this ever happened. Okay. And then all I would have to see once, I don't think the jury's seen that yet, but is that video, if the state introduces that video of of him in the jail. To me, that's enough. I'm like, you have not shown it, any remorse to this. You're acting like, I wouldn't shot this guy. Like, I'm cool. Like, to me, that's almost enough for me to convict you and not think it's self-defense. Because I've tried a lot of self-defense cases, and I've been on the prosecution side, and I've lost one before. I remember specifically but in this case, but in those cases, people showed some actual remorse or did things after they shot the person. Like hung around and waited for the police. Said, hey, look, this is what happened. So this guy is acting like a criminal to me.
And well, he is a criminal, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's got a criminal background.
Does he? I can't remember.
Yeah, I want to say so. I could be wrong on that. If I am, I apologize. But he actually had his bond revoked on this, too.
He did. I think it was like for visiting the girlfriend or something like that.
Yeah, shacking up with her. I think she got arrested, too.
I believe so. I believe that's right.
Yeah, because they violated the separation order or whatever it is. No contact.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so clearly there's no respect for law.
No, and I'm telling you, man, you remember seeing the video from the jail, right?
I was the one who broke that story.
Did you break the story? Okay,
yeah.
I can remember. To me, that is so bad. That is so damning to him when they introduced that, and
because they were on that black guy's social media.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah,
and somebody stumbled across it, and of course, because of me, snitch over here. Mm-hmm. I encouraged snitching. Of course, Hinds County found out, and they went over there, and that's when he caught that other charge for paraphernalia.
Yeah, contraband.
Contraband
charge.
Contraband, and then there. But it was my TikTok video and Instagram video that went viral and got him in trouble.
So you're the one who turned him in, huh?
Yep. Well, once you put it out there, it turned himself in. Like everybody found it really quick.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure Tyree and them were very happy with me that day of putting that on social media and not just sending it to them
directly. Right.
But this dude just killed some people, so you know what? Screw him. He didn't allegedly kill anybody. He did kill folks. The allegedly was it intentional or not? We've heard rumors. I guess we could talk about this now. Mm-hmm. We've heard rumors since all this popped off that the girl could have gotten shot with friendly fire from people on the other side shooting back at him.
Yeah.
I would love to see the ballistics on that, and did that bullet come out of his gun?
Well, that's the argument the defense was kind of intimating to. But the problem is with that is they didn't find a projectile. So for the female victim, I think her name was Jubilee Simpkins.
Yeah.
And so
they never found a bullet.
They didn't find the projectile, and you can't do ballistics without the projectile. So
what is the projectile?
The actual round.
The casing?
Yeah, the bullet. The bullet, yeah.
Okay.
Whatever you gun guys call it, the bullet, right? The bullet, yeah. I always call it a projectile because that's what's written in the report. But yeah, the actual bullet. So you need that to do the ballistics, and they didn't recover that, which is always not, it's always not easy to. Usually, if it's a through and through wound, it's hard to, you don't always find the projectile.
Well, you can't tell where the entry and exit point was.
That's still not going to tell you the make and model of the gun, or consistent. What they can tell you in a ballistic is is it consistent with a Glock 19?
No. That's not what I'm asking. Like the coroner can't tell if the bullet went through the. Let's just say for
the forensic pathologist, yes.
Yeah, like if it went inner chest and outer back, or inner back and outer chest.
They can absolutely tell that, but you can't tell. You're not able to determine what kind of firearm would be consistent with that wound unless you find the projectile.
Yeah. So I just in my mind, I'm visioning one crew of people facing this way, one crew of people facing that way. If somebody from behind her shot her,
you could tell that by certain characteristics. A lot of
she could have been turned around. Anything could have happened. That may not be 100% science, but just in my mind, that's how I'm visioning this.
Yeah, I mean, you could see if the entry wound entered her back, if that's what you're asking, like that way. Yeah. You could tell that. You could also tell the distance. If there's no stifling, what's called stifling, on the body, then you could tell it was more of a distance wound than it would be a contact or close range wound.
But when he would, it's kind of like the house burglary law. Mm-hmm. I know that they have it in Alabama. Like if two people break in a house and the homeowner kills one of them, the surviving guy catches the murder case.
Yeah.
So it's kind of similar, I guess. If Jordan is is guilty of initiating, not self-defense.
Mm-hmm. He's guilty of both murders.
Yeah, even if the other was friendly fire, he's guilty of both murders.
Yeah, correct. That's correct.
Okay,
That's
I wasn't sure how that worked in Mississippi.
Because like you can, I've had several cases where two guys go rob a liquor store or convenience store. You like the convenience store example, so and the store owner shoots one of them, and then his cohort is guilty of capital murder at that point. So.
Well, that's turning less and less and less nowadays. They're convicting store owners.
Yeah, so like it's going to be interesting. Because they didn't find a projectile, so you can't tell what kind of weapon it was consistent with. But the video is kind of hard to make out. There may be another video that they're going to play today. I'm not sure exactly about that to tell maybe a little bit more what happened there. But I think
there's video from inside a new Ford Bronco.
Is there
that records like those things got the cameras on them?
Yeah.
That recorded all this.
Okay. See, I didn't know that yet.
Yeah, I think I talked to that guy at one point.
Gotcha.
So we'll see.
I think I'll tell you one thing, if they didn't have his statements before the incident and then that jail video, this would be a really tough case for the state, I think. Just based on the video that I saw, it'd be rough. It's kind of like things like your own actions can get you sometimes. So, your own words.
Oh, well, yeah. Man, now, look, there's been plenty of times that we've all said dumb stuff. So I don't know. I mean, because we heard that he allegedly was beating up on old girl.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's several people that testified to that.
That he was beating up on old girl. These other people were riding by and decided to play, Captain Save-A-Girl.
Yeah.
And that's when it popped off. But they all knew each other.
It seemed like they all loosely knew each other. You know how the way we know people from the bar, like you're like, if you hang out at the bars, like when we were younger, it's like, oh, we still talk about that. Like that's so and so we always see at the bar, but they're not really your close friend. You just kind of know them from the bar. I think that's kind of how they all knew each other. It wasn't like they were call each other friends, but they knew each other from the bar. That's the way I took it. They're what people were testifying to.
Yeah, I got you.
And another thing he was doing, if I was his lawyer, I'd have to hit him with a ruler or something. He just kept having his head on his hands, like he was going to sleep, and I'm like, and the jury's watching that. I'm like, you need to act like you're a little more interested in this.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I say, my gut is, given the racial dynamics and the video from jail and the saying that he was going to do it, I think the rest is just semantics. How long are they expecting this to last?
They've got about 50 witnesses to subpoena, so it could go into next week. So I don't know if they're going to streamline that or not. I mean, it could be rather lengthy. And then also we're going to see if he takes the stand or not. Now, his lawyer went on TV and made a statement to that effect that, he probably would take the stand. I think you kind of have to when you're in a self-defense situation.
Who is he? Who's the lawyer?
It's Bill Kellum.
What do you know about him?
I don't know him. I don't know him to do a lot of criminal work, so I haven't really seen him over there as much. But I've heard of him before, though.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to have Chris Barrett, Gays Against Groomers, on the line with us for a couple of segments. We got a lot to talk about today. Are they going to be removing our two Confederate Mississippi statues from the U.S. Capitol? And, of course, we're going to get into the Hunter Biden guilty verdict in hour 2 and the potential ramifications and fallout from that. Shaun and I predicted it last week somewhat. We said that the appeal could be very interesting from the conservative pro-2A standpoint, because if they're able to turn it over and win on appeal, it could change things and open up some gun rights. And that is the first thing they went to on CNN. So it's going to be interesting to see how all this shakes out. This is the Clay Edwards Show with Shaun Yurtkuran. We'll be right back on WYAB.